Is the rice you are eating every day contaminated with arsenic? What if I told you that some of Australia's most popular rice brands contain toxic heavy metals absorbed from polluted soil and water, pesticide residues from industrial farming, and are often imported from countries with minimal food safety standards while being marketed as premium quality? This is the rice you feed your family multiple times per week. This is the rice you believe is a healthy staple. What I discovered will change how you see that bag in your pantry. Rice naturally accumulates arsenic from soil and groundwater at levels 10 times higher than other grains. Some brands import rice from regions with severe pollution and pass it off as quality product. Let me take you through the worst offenders. Number 1. SunRice. This one hurts because SunRice has been Australia's dominant rice brand since 1950. The red and white packaging is in virtually every Australian kitchen. SunRice represents Australian rice farming heritage, with marketing emphasising local riverina farmers and clean Australian production. But here is what most Australians do not know about what is actually happening behind the brand. SunRice is owned by Rice Growers Limited, a cooperative of rice farmers based in New South Wales. While technically Australian-owned, the company has expanded globally and now sources rice from multiple countries to supplement Australian production. Your SunRice bag might contain imported rice blended with Australian rice, with minimal disclosure about origin. The arsenic issue affects all rice, but SunRice's Australian rice comes from the Riverina region, where flood irrigation from the Murrumbidgee River is standard practice. Rice paddies are flooded during growing, which causes arsenic in soil to become more soluble and bioavailable to plant roots. Studies testing Australian rice found arsenic levels averaging 150 to 250 micrograms per kilogram. Research published in Environmental Pollution found that people eating rice daily can have arsenic body burdens 2 to 3 times higher than people who rarely eat rice. Chronic arsenic exposure is linked to increased risks of bladder cancer, lung cancer, skin cancer, and cardiovascular disease. SunRice also imports rice from countries including Pakistan, Vietnam, and other Asian sources where water pollution and heavy metal contamination are significantly worse than Australia. The imported rice is mixed with Australian rice and sold under the SunRice brand without clear origin labeling. You have no way of knowing whether your bag contains clean Australian rice or contaminated imported rice. Consumer investigations have found inconsistent quality in SunRice products, with some batches containing higher levels of broken grains, discoloured kernels, and foreign material. One reviewer wrote that they found small stones in their SunRice, suggesting poor quality control in cleaning and sorting. When you buy SunRice thinking you are getting pure Australian rice, you are potentially eating imported rice from polluted regions, blended to reduce costs while maintaining premium pricing under Australian branding. Number 2. Coles brand rice. Coles house brand rice is the budget option sitting on supermarket shelves at the lowest price. The simple white packaging promises basic value for families trying to save on groceries. But here is what the low price reveals about sourcing and quality. Coles sources their rice from the cheapest available suppliers, which change based on global commodity prices. The rice could come from Australia, Thailand, Vietnam, Pakistan, India, or anywhere Coles secured the lowest contract price that quarter. The origin is listed in tiny print and varies batch to batch. Independent testing has found that supermarket house brand rice often contains higher levels of broken grains, chalky kernels, and foreign material compared to premium brands. The rice is the lowest grade acceptable for retail sale, with premium grades going to branded products or export markets. Coles rice from Asian sources often comes from regions with severe water pollution. Rice grown in Vietnam, for example, may be irrigated with water contaminated by industrial effluent, agricultural chemicals, and heavy metals from mining. Studies have found Vietnamese rice with cadmium and lead levels exceeding safe limits. The packaging for Coles rice uses the thinnest possible plastic to minimize costs. These bags are more prone to tearing during transport and storage, allowing potential contamination. The plastic also leaches more readily because it contains higher levels of plasticizers needed to keep thin plastic flexible. Consumer reviews describe Coles rice as inconsistent quality. One reviewer wrote that some bags cook up fine while others are mushy or contain odd smells, suggesting different sources or poor storage conditions. Another said they found insects in sealed Coles rice bags, indicating contamination during packaging. When you buy Coles rice to save money, you are getting whatever rice was cheapest on global markets that month, potentially from heavily polluted regions, with minimal quality control, packaged in the cheapest plastic that leaches chemicals into the product. Number 3. Woolworths brand rice. Woolworths house brand rice follows the identical pattern to Coles. Budget pricing, commodity sourcing from the lowest bidder, and variable quality depending on which supplier's rice filled your particular bag. The white label packaging promises value, but here is what you are actually getting. Woolworths sources rice globally based on price, with common origins including Thailand, Pakistan, and India, in addition to Australian rice. The Thai jasmine rice sold under Woolworths brand often comes from regions where pesticide use is poorly regulated and water sources are contaminated with industrial pollution. Thailand is one of the world's largest rice exporters, but environmental investigations have documented severe pollution in rice-growing regions. Factory effluent, mining waste, and agricultural runoff contaminate rivers used for irrigation. The rice absorbs heavy metals including cadmium, lead, and arsenic from this polluted water. Research published in the journal Science of the Total Environment found cadmium contamination in Thai rice from certain regions at levels that pose health risks with regular consumption. Cadmium accumulates in kidneys and can cause kidney disease, bone weakening, and cancer. Woolworths rice also uses the cheapest possible packaging with thin plastic bags prone to chemical leaching and physical damage. The rice sits in these bags for months, potentially exposed to heat during warehouse storage that accelerates chemical migration from plastic into food. Consumer complaints describe finding foreign objects in Woolworths rice, including small stones, pieces of husk, and unidentified dark particles. One reviewer wrote that Woolworths jasmine rice had a chemical smell when opened, possibly from pesticide residues or plastic bag odor. When you buy Woolworths rice for the lowest price, you are eating commodity rice from unknown suppliers in countries with poor environmental regulation, potentially contaminated with heavy metals and pesticides, packaged in cheap plastic that leaches chemicals. Number 4. Tilda basmati rice. Tilda is one of the world's most recognized basmati rice brands, sold in Australian supermarkets as premium imported basmati. The packaging shows golden rice fields and promises authentic basmati aroma and flavor. Tilda positions itself as the superior choice for Indian and Middle Eastern cooking. But here is what the premium positioning and fancy packaging hide about contamination risks. Tilda is owned by Heinz Celestial Group, an American natural and organic food company. Your premium basmati is foreign-owned, with profits flowing to American shareholders. The brand sources basmati rice exclusively from India and Pakistan, the traditional basmati growing regions. The problem is that Indian and Pakistani basmati regions face severe groundwater contamination from naturally occurring arsenic. The Punjab and Haryana regions, where basmati is grown, have arsenic in aquifer water that is pumped for irrigation. Studies published in Science of the Total Environment found arsenic contamination in groundwater used for rice irrigation throughout the Indo-Gangetic Plain. Rice grown with arsenic-contaminated irrigation water absorbs the toxin into the grain. Basmati rice, tested by independent laboratories, has shown arsenic levels ranging from 100 to 300 micrograms per kilogram, with some samples exceeding safe consumption guidelines. The aromatic basmati you pay premium prices for contains the same arsenic contamination as cheaper Asian rice. Beyond arsenic, Indian basmati regions face cadmium contamination in soil from industrial pollution and sewage sludge used as fertilizer. Cadmium accumulates in rice and is a known kidney toxin and carcinogen. The premium basmati you eat for special meals may contain cadmium that accumulates in your kidneys over years of consumption. Tilda basmati is also treated with pesticides during growing and storage. India's pesticide regulations are less strict than Australia's, and residue testing has found multiple pesticide residues in Indian basmati rice, including organophosphates and pyrethroids. These pesticide residues persist in the rice even after washing and cooking. The rice is aged after harvest, which is traditional for basmati to develop flavor and aroma. However, during aging, the rice is stored in facilities that may use fumigants, including phosphine gas, to prevent insect infestation. Fumigant residues can remain in rice and pose health risks with chronic exposure. Tilda charges premium prices, often 3 to 4 times the cost of regular white rice. You are paying for the basmati variety and brand marketing, not for superior safety or lower contamination. The rice faces the same heavy metal and pesticide issues as budget imported rice, just in a fancier package. Consumer reviews describe Tilda as authentic basmati with good aroma and elongated grains that separate well when cooked. However, reviewers are completely unaware of the arsenic contamination, cadmium in soil, and pesticide residues. The rice tastes good while containing toxins that accumulate in your body. When you buy Tilda basmati, thinking you are getting premium quality rice, you are eating American-owned Indian rice grown with arsenic-contaminated groundwater, in cadmium-polluted soil, treated with pesticides banned in Australia, fumigated during storage, at prices 4 times higher than alternatives. Number 5. Mahatma jasmine rice. Mahatma is an imported rice brand sold in Australian supermarkets, particularly at Costco and some independent grocers. The brand offers jasmine rice marketed as authentic Thai fragrant rice. The packaging shows Thai imagery and promises restaurant-quality results. But here is what makes Mahatma jasmine rice particularly concerning. Mahatma is owned by Riviana Foods, which is part of Ebro Foods, the Spanish multinational. The brand sources jasmine rice from Thailand, specifically from regions where rice farming faces severe environmental challenges and heavy metal contamination. Thai jasmine rice comes from central and northeastern Thailand, where industrial development has contaminated water and soil. Factory pollution, mining operations, and agricultural chemical runoff affect the rivers and groundwater used for rice irrigation. Studies have found cadmium, lead, and arsenic in Thai rice from these regions. Research published in Environmental Geochemistry and Health tested Thai jasmine rice and found cadmium levels in some samples that exceeded safe limits for regular consumption. The cadmium comes from zinc mining operations and industrial waste that contaminated agricultural soils. Rice plants absorb cadmium efficiently, concentrating it in the grain. Mahatma jasmine rice is also grown with heavy pesticide use. Thailand's jasmine rice farmers apply multiple pesticide treatments during the growing season to prevent pest damage and maximize yields. Residue testing has found organophosphate insecticides, synthetic pyrethroids, and herbicide residues in Thai jasmine rice samples. The rice is processed and packaged in Thailand, then shipped to Australia in containers. During the weeks-long ocean shipping, the rice may be exposed to temperature fluctuations and humidity that degrade quality. Imported rice is also fumigated with methyl bromide or phosphine gas to prevent insect infestation, leaving chemical residues. Mahatma rice sold at Costco comes in large bags designed for bulk purchasing. While this seems economical, rice quality degrades over time, and most families cannot consume a 10-kilogram bag before the rice becomes stale. The longer storage time at home increases exposure to plasticizer chemicals leaching from the packaging. The brand offers prices lower than premium jasmine rice brands, which indicates lower grade rice. Premium Thai jasmine rice is exported to markets willing to pay higher prices. Lower grade rice with more broken grains, less aroma, and potentially higher contamination is sold to price-sensitive markets. Consumer reviews describe Mahatma jasmine rice as acceptable for the price, but lacking the strong fragrance of premium jasmine rice. One reviewer wrote that the rice smells slightly musty when opened, possibly indicating age or poor storage conditions. Another said some grains in the bag were discolored or broken, confirming lower grade rice. So, what should you actually buy? First, look for Australian-grown rice with clear origin labeling. Brands like Riviana Pure Australian Rice specifically source from Australian farms and clearly label the product as 100% Australian. Australian rice has lower heavy metal contamination than most imported rice because Australian soil and water are relatively clean. Available at major supermarkets. How to identify safer rice. Check for 100% Australian origin. Rice labelled as grown in Australia from Australian farms eliminates the uncertainty of imported rice from polluted regions. Choose white rice for regular consumption. Brown rice is nutritious, but contains significantly more arsenic. Save brown rice for occasional use rather than daily consumption. Rinse rice thoroughly. Rinsing rice before cooking removes 20 to 30% of surface arsenic. Use plenty of water and rinse until water runs clear. Here is the bottom line. The Australian rice market includes both locally grown rice and imported rice from regions with severe pollution and contamination. SunRice, while Australian-owned, blends imported rice with local rice without clear disclosure. Coles and Woolworths source the cheapest global rice available. Forbidden Foods sells Chinese rice from regions with documented soil contamination. Lotus imports Indian rice irrigated with arsenic-contaminated groundwater. Chang's sells pre-cooked rice with bacterial contamination risks. You deserve to know where your rice comes from and what toxins it contains. If this video helped you understand the risks in rice brands, hit the like button and share this with everyone eating rice daily without knowing about arsenic. Subscribe so you do not miss our next investigation.